We are back talking about Foundation and Empire. You just finished it today, right?
I finished it.
I read it a while ago, but we'll brush up on it, talk about everything, all kinds of cool details, and you got tons of notes, right, that we'll be working through.
I highlighted a ton in this time.
I guess before you jump into it, how'd you feel like ranking it with, because it's book 2 of 7, really?
Alright. So the first one was really good. The second one, I feel like, so it's a 2-part book.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm honest, the first part of the book,
It's disjointed, right?
It's not just disjointed. I feel like it was written and like it had to happen so that the other part of the book, the second part, makes more sense.
Yeah, because it's two, I guess, not short stories, whatever, just combined into one book. Dead Hand and The Mule, both written in 1945, but like 6 months apart.
Yeah. So Dead Hand's not as good. The Mule, I thought, was great.
Yeah, yeah. And the third book is like so weird and interesting because of that. But we'll get to what's so unique about that comes out of nowhere.
I honestly feel like we can kind of breeze through the first part.
Yeah.
The Dead Hand. I feel like the only point of this whole section of the book
is really the ending. Really that last chapter, right? I mean, the last like conversation.
It's a couple things. It's the ending, and it's to show how Selden had kind of figured this out, sort of, and everyone's become very, I guess in summary, like, there's a general for the Empire.
Yeah, Rios.
Rios. He's a young general. I think he's like 34.
I said he's compared to like Napoleon. He's like, he just needs to fight. That's where he's meant to be.
Yeah, well, he also just likes, so like he really believes in the Empire, and he believes that he should be helping to conquer things for the Empire.
Napoleon.
For the Empire.
Yeah, for the Empire.
So sorry.
Gaming and playing.
I spawned in the middle.
You spawned in the sheets.
Crazy.
You spawned in the outer reaches, the barbarian, the periphery.
Basically.
He's in the periphery right now.
Because he's kind of a general that likes to fight. He's kind of been sent out to the periphery, and he's looking to expand the Empire.
Yeah. It's mildly jumping ahead, but to tag on, it's like because the Empire's in such decay that the inner core, if you actually care about fighting, like it's all bureaucrats and nobody's actually noble.
Bit. They're like, what is wrong with this guy?
Yeah, nobody's actually fighting the good fight or believes in,
It's also, the Empire is very, what's the word when like your empire changes often?
I don't know. Yeah, but it's very, like we said in the first one, it's basically the fall of Rome, where you got a new emperor every other freaking, year. It seems like a couple months.
There are stories of like constant civil wars and constant generals taking over, and some viceroy will kill the guy, whoever the emperor, and take over, and
people are backstabbing. Like there's no stability. There's no long-term goals.
Not turbulent, but anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know what the word is. Someone can leave it in a
Somebody
comment.
put in the comment. Yeah, exactly.
It's just gonna be bothering me, but it's just shaky and unstable.
Shaky empire.
Shaky warrior.
Yeah, but that's why somebody who's trying to make a name for themselves or actually go to war and actually be a good general is not going to be rising in the ranks back home, or close to the empire, close to the emperor's court. It's going to be all sycophants and weird political
gonna send your ass
positioning.
out thinking that nothing in the periphery, like what's going to happen out there?
Periphery's like the outer rim, like the...
Because there is... Dang,
the
now
Wild West.
I'm going to have to find a quote. Because there's a quote where basically, like, Rios has been sent out to periphery because the emperor both wants him far away, but also knows that he's a good general, so it doesn't make sense to, like, get rid of him totally and make him an enemy.
They don't waste him.
So... kind of just pacifies him by sending him out there. So his plan, when he's out in the periphery, is he starts to hear these rumors of these magicians that exist, and all these planets that have joined these magicians at.
There's like a small magician empire out there, And that is the Foundation with their technology.
So he starts like tracking down all these rumors, and he narrows down that someone in an imperial planet is of
Sewena.
Yeah.
Which is just like Seswana from Star Wars with Tarkin, but go ahead.
He knows that someone there has actually spoken to one of these magicians. So the person that spoke to the musicians.
The magician.
I almost did it again.
I know.
The person that spoke to the magicians is dead.
Yeah.
But his heir apparent and only living son is still alive. So Rios actually makes it a point of meeting this guy.
Yeah.
Because
bar,
do some bar. So right? Did I say his name right?
He always throws off like a letter to make it sound, odd and futuristic or something.
Why can't you remember any of the names? None of them are normal. None.
Yeah.
Tell me whose name you remember.
Yeah, I do. It's funny. What stuck from reading all of these a long time ago is like obviously Harry Seldon and Mallow and Hardin.
Well, those are like the main characters.
Yeah, and the mule, obviously.
Another.
We'll
main
get
character.
there.
So, he's talking to Doosan Bar because basically, Mr. Bar is the son of the original. I forgot the other guy's name.
Yeah.
But his father spoke with Mallow.
Papa Bar met with Mallow, who became the mayor in book one. And he was obviously a magician, somebody from the Empire with all this high tech. He had a personal shield. He had all kinds of crazy shit that even the Foundation didn't have.
Yeah, as a recap, his dad talked about how he had a son because he was part of like a rebel group trying to free their planet from the grips of the Empire because he felt that the Empire was just abusive and there hadn't been a lot of good reason to keep them around. So his planet had been taken over by this viceroy, and his son was in the viceroy's fleet and was plotting to kill the viceroy. So that was where book 1 left off. Book 2, you're actually meeting the son who successfully assassinated the viceroy. So he's kind of like a
and now he's
fugitive,
but yeah,
like he's alright. He's not in jail, but like it could be brought to court that he killed. Like he's like in this gray area.
Anybody that knows that could use that against him.
Yeah,
call the like it's not like they're actively looking for him or know him.
And he has kids and he has grandkids, so Rio basically like threatens his family hostage. He's like, I can go after your family if you don't come and help me.
Yeah, and
Bar's like, I don't really get why you want me. And Rio said, well, for one, I'm a military guy. You're a politician. I'm going to be going against the Foundation, so there might be need for some political
some maneuvering, and that his dad met with one of these magicians.
Yeah, he was like,
men.
Your dad has to have passed down to you how to talk to these people or win them over, like some info.
A cool detail, he still had the energy shield on his wall.
Yeah,
which is really cool. It doesn't work,
but he did have it like as a trophy.
And that's such a small little cool detail that all these traders, I forget his name, but the guy that made the little iron to gold machine, like they keep these little trinkets break.
Yeah.
But it'd be like if you showed.
They only last so long.
And I love that they made the toy thing because we're playing with our little daughter. And I'm like, yeah, these things have lights and circuit boards and batteries. And if you showed this to like a primitive person, like our kids' toys are like.
Would have taken up an entire room.
Yeah, but the fact that it's just going to kids, it shows like this must be trivial technology to this civilization. Like, this is not advanced tech to have lights and batteries, and it's in our kids' toys.
Yeah.
So there's tons of stuff like that. But of course it breaks. I mean, it's not like military grade equipment or something. Like, it's so ubiquitous and normal that it breaks down.
I bought her a bubble machine. You may or may not have to buy another one by the end of summer.
No. Why? You think it's just going to get worn down?
We'll see.
Used so much.
It is a ridiculous amount of bubbles.
Yeah, it is. If you see bubbles, that's us. But yeah, so he's holding the family hostage.
Wow. You just
that was
killed
me.
me.
With the shotties. He's holding the family hostage. Our Napoleon, our general man, is holding the
So he goes after the Foundation.
Bar's kid. Yeah, because he's trying to go after Foundation, make a name for himself, and because Foundation is obviously growing with the barbarians. They're taking over all these different barbarian planets and barbarian worlds. There's plenty of them, but they're unorganized. But everybody knows what the hell's going on with this Foundation thing. And of course, the tech. The tech is terrifying to anybody that pays attention. Because there's tons of details too. Like this guy's, it's the general, right? Or is it Bar? I think it's Bar. His door doesn't work and stuff like that. Like these weird little details.
Well, he says that he could fix it, but he doesn't have the pieces.
Mm-hmm.
The pieces aren't available to him. Cause like the camera, it's like one of those. It's supposed to be like the Winn-Dixie door that it just opens automatically, but. I don't know why I picked Winn-Dixie.
No, it's true.
Everybody
any
on the
grocery
planet
store
has,
like automated door. But you gotta think this is written in 1945, and so like, but he's trying to show it's a cool, subtle, like, realistic way that like the empire's falling apart. You know, shit hits the fan. Our Amazon deliveries are not next day.
He's able to fix the door, but he hasn't been able to even get the literally what we're having issues with. But so he can fix the door. He just literally hasn't been able to get his hands on the pieces to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
The little camera works. It's got like a camera to help him see who's at the door. Like his Ring doorbell works.
Yeah, that's why he's like, I saw you, it just didn't open. My bad. But go ahead.
All right. So Rios basically takes him hostage, and the Foundation is catching wind, because this is where I get a little confused. So I think the Foundation, Rios actually leaves. Sorry. He doesn't take him hostage yet. He leaves, and then he makes himself kind of a civilian type and goes undercover, and he's with the Foundation for like a month, right?
Yeah. He goes to Terminus.
Yeah. And the Foundation releases him.
Yeah.
But they know, because they're dumb.
Because they're the
but
Foundation.
They're not that dumb.
Yeah.
They know that this can't be good. It's a sign that war is upon them.
Yeah.
So their political leaders are freaking out. Of their political leaders, one of them is a bastard son of Mallow. It's like, I forgot how they describe it. Sorry, I'm trying to remember, because in like public, he's just known as having I think a connection to Mallow. Yeah, but it said everybody. But in private, everybody knows. They're like, he's the bastard son.
And they describe their mayor as just an idiot. I don't even know. Do we actually see the actual mayor? No, right?
Not in this one, not so much.
I don't remember. Well,
because in this one, it's still like four civil, like 4 leaders, and they all get together, and they're like, oh, let's not talk. Like, we have to put our competitive business bullshit aside, because I guess they all kind of compete internally.
Which is funny. They're like our oligarch overlords. Like, we really run shit, and we fight each other, and we have our little petty rich guy squabbles. But, the Empire's sniffing around.
Yeah, and like one of them's like, we're gonna do this for patriotism, being patriotic, and he's like, I don't care about being patriotic.
I don't give two gosh darns.
Yeah, basically.
Because it's like, written in the 40s.
My issue, though, is if the Empire takes over, how's my business going to do? Yeah. How's your business going to do?
So let's just keep fighting each other in the business.
They're like, the issue with the last, because they realize that they're probably looking at a Harry Seldon crisis. And they're like, the issue with the last Harry Seldon crises was always that we had a smart man that was able to figure out the weakness of the opponent. Yeah, and they're both the leaders of the state, no? Yeah,
because both Hardin and Mallow were both the mayor at the time, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Hardin was mayor, and Mallow became mayor.
Yeah. He was pulling stuff before that too, but I mean,
Mallow was intended to. But yeah, I guess during the crisis he was mayor, right?
Yeah, pretty sure.
So they were like, what are we going to do? We don't have a smart man.
Yeah, because the mayor's
it's just the 4 of us.
The mayor's drooling.
It's just the 4 of us.
I can't relate to this at all as an American.
Especially not right now.
I think, is Asimov Harry Seldon? Go ahead.
But
yeah, so then they're going to come together and try and backhack this Rios.
They decide that they're gonna send like a spy back.
Mhm.
So Rios, who's now gone back, and now at this point he has taken Bar hostage. He ends up catching a trader ship, and he's like already suspicious from the get-go because he hasn't been able to catch a trader ship
Yeah,
for shit.
that part was written really well.
Yeah, he literally calls them out point blank, and he's like, why was I able to capture you?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, because...
He says all of them either fight back, they have all this tech that they can't be stopped.
Yeah, they're just... Or they're so much faster.
Or they
or
leave.
they're
Yeah,
just, like, the tech
Yeah, they go down fighting, they go down violently, or just, it's not even an issue, they just flee. And so, but the way it's written is pretty cool. It brings it up. He's like, you think that he's being lulled. There's always, we're reading this from most of the Foundation people's point of view. Like, of course they're going to outsmart him. But it's like, no, Rios is pretty damn with it. He's not that easy to trick. He got, oh shit.
Trying to see, because I just wanted to see if I actually had...
Yeah, the little note.
Like a note.
Yeah, I don't know. On him finding him, because on him bringing it up. Yikes! Over here. Oh man.
Anyway, I'll find it later.
Mm-hmm.
But he ends up putting this trader that he catches in the same cell as he's got Bar, because he feels like maybe because he has Bar's family hostage, he can get this trader guy to open up.
Yeah.
And then feed him information. So that's kind of Rios's plan. But what he doesn't know is that as soon as he's put in the room, the trader gives Bar a bracelet that makes him immune to probing and immune
the psychic
to spying.
probe, which is terrifying.
Oh, I don't know if there's like literally parts of the book that talk about how this psychic probe, when used by someone who doesn't know what they're doing, can like screw you up permanently.
I know I keep saying it, but it's true. I mean, this has influenced everybody. But the whole scene in Star Wars with Darth Vader's, the whole probe on Leia, is inspired by this psychic probe, and it's cool that of all the complaints of new canon, they're really leaning into that with the scene in Andor where the freaking brains. That was one of the best scenes in the new Disney canon Star Wars. The way that they melt the one guy's brain, basically, the scientist guy, and the way the other girl gets attacked by the thing. But basically, yeah, imagine it literally can invade your brain. It's like a truth serum, it's his version of, how does truth serum work? Well, they got a tech version that just pries your mind apart somehow. And there's no way around that. At least that's what the Empire thought. Conventional wisdom said there's no way around a mind probe. And it is not a nice, painless process.
No. If anything, it's... everyone's terrified of it.
Literally torture, yeah. Go ahead. Because that's what they're threatening him with, but he gave him the jewelry, which, Oh,
yeah, so later on, Rios actually ends up having to tell another person that's high up in the king's stuff. Just his
all
crap
the
that he
king's
has.
Stuff.
In his ranks.
Yeah, the emperor, you mean, right?
Yeah, the emperor. My bad.
That's okay. He'll probably appreciate it. Mr. Cleon the Second, right?
Yeah.
I remember it's Cleon.
It does jump. So like basically, Rios takes these guys hostage, and then it jumps to like Cleon the Second, the emperor, who's just like hanging out at home. He's known for taking summers off and not seeing anyone during the summer. And
you gotta chill as an emperor,
Yeah, it was stressful.
Yeah, especially when it's collapse.
And he's extremely untrusting of everyone.
Yeah, like all good fall empires.
So his right-hand man is our boy Broderick.
Broderick.
I can't. It's ridiculous.
I know.
Letters that had no business being together.
I know. It's just consonant salads.
Thanks, bro.
Broderick. Broderick is rich. He's richer than the emperor.
But he works for the emperor. They talk about how he's not loved.
Yeah.
Dang.
He's just one of these, they're all archetype, which is basically what the cool thing of psychohistory is with Harry Seldon. Like, these characters, I mean, think about how cool it is that they, what was it, Parallel Lives, I think, by Livy, that was showing how some of these, ancient to the Romans, we consider them ancient Romans, but they're comparing their lives to even earlier Romans. And Livy's saying, like, look, this guy is just like, Caesar in this way, or this guy's like this other guy. So these Roderick characters pop up too, where he just got a shit ton of money and he's just hanging around the emperor.
Yeah.
What were you looking for? A quote about how nobody likes him?
He isn't connected to royalty.
Yeah. But I'm surprised any of them are at this point in the fall of the empire. They're not full-on barbarians yet. That'll come soon.
No, that's coming.
Yeah.
But basically the emperor's like, hey, you're one of the people I trust the most. I think you should go out there and see what this general's doing, because the general sent a message. Basically, Deucen Bar got into his head and was like, I know that you want to take on the Foundation, but you're going to lose because the Foundation has been planned by Harry Seldon, and his concept of
psychohistory
is going to protect the Foundation.
Yeah.
So this is like, I don't know. I would call for
Cleon said
reinforcements.
that? I don't remember that.
No, Deucen.
Oh, yeah, Barr said that. Okay.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah,
if you're going to do that, you're going to need reinforcements, and you're going to need, like, I don't know, you're going to need a bunch of shit, and you're still probably going to lose.
Yeah.
And he was all pissed off. He's like, you're telling me that Harry Seldon, 300 years ago thought that I was going to show up and calculated I was going to lose?
Yeah.
And he was like, yes.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, me?
Straight-faced, yes.
I was going to have a brown streak in my pants that day.
He didn't know you as an individual, but he
clams.
knew someone like you was going to mess up.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like, no. Not that specific, but you, the archetype. You were fulfilling a role of this late-stage empire collapse, self-indulgent emperor, man.
So, the emperor gets a message from this guy that got a little nervous. And honestly, even tells Barr later, he was like, I regret letting you get in my head. I should have never sent the emperor a message. But he sends the emperor a message, and what's his name? Roderick,
yeah.
shows up, and he's basically like, so why do you have your prisoners, like, hanging out with each other and shit? Why do you have them so comfy? Like, why are they such happy little prisoners?
Yeah.
And he's...
What is this, Sweden?
Rios is like, I didn't realize I did this wrong.
Yeah.
It's like, you did it very wrong. These guys should be... It's like, for one, I don't know how he found out, but he was like, you gotta take off all this jewelry and shit. Your psychic probe isn't working because they have something to stop it.
Yeah.
So...
Which, how do you think he knew that? Like, just from, I don't know, his own intelligence or connections with the Foundation, or even...
Might just be smarter than him.
Yeah, right, sadly.
Rios was also just young.
Yeah. And maybe, who knows, maybe that's a thing among the elites, too. That might be some crazy Illuminati cover your ass shit equivalent in the Foundation. Like, hey, man, you gotta put an atomic wristband on. Because they said it's literally like searching through static. Like the way that
so Rios had thought that it had to do with the fact that they were from different planets, and maybe a psychic probe just needed to be, like, adjusted or needed an update or some shit to, like...
Almost like culture and language is different, like their mental mind pattern is so different.
Something was maybe blocking it due to, like, where they were raised or something. Like, maybe they're just not susceptible to Jedi mind powers.
Yeah.
And Broderick was like, you're an idiot.
Might be a baby pause real quick. Oh, that works.
Oh, yeah.
We'll pause here 1 second. Okay, we're back. She had to put the baby back to sleep.
Yeah.
But we're good.
Oh my god, Ben. Why are you pushing my chair?
And that's being attacked by the dog. Hi.
They're called, like, false starts.
Level production value.
Where she doesn't really wake up, but she kind of wakes up. And she could wake up, but you gotta... Anyway.
Yeah.
So... Bodridge.
Rod.
Broderick.
You're
Whatever.
gonna telephone game me, my
Yes.
own brain, psyop me, gaslight me.
What's his name?
It's Steven.
Steven.
Broderick.
Broderick comes in, and in all of this, while they've been held hostage, Devers the traitor, and Dusenbar, the other guy.
Yeah, and traders with a D, like a merchant.
Yeah, not traitor.
I know. I'm like,
Traitor.
just in case.
Rios has been slowly taking over planets and creating what he calls the enclosure,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically he's like trying to put up. How would you describe this? Like a net. Like he's taking over all the planets in the name of the
he's just gonna
empire
encircle
around.
him and
He's just gonna chokehold the
Mhm.
foundation,
yeah.
and like he's planning to just overwhelm them by like basically surrounding them.
Yeah. Pretty simple strategy for
Yeah, it's
space
straightforward.
Napoleon.
It's straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
My bud. Sorry, bet you wanted love
The
too.
dog wants to be cuddled to sleep.
Everybody wants my cuddles.
Yeah.
So that just sounds wrong. My bad.
Yeah.
Go
ahead, my wife.
I'll keep my comment to
And
myself.
all right, now that you've lost focus, his name is spelled Brodig. Brodig.
Brodig.
Brodig. I guess I added. My brain was adding an extra R.
You're
Brodig.
welcome.
That was Broderick.
So he's been working on the enclosure, as he calls it.
Mm-hmm.
And he, like, they realize that they're gonna be, cause Barr knows this Brodig,
Yeah.
well, from rumors and all this other shit. Like, the guy's been around.
Mm-hmm.
So he basically tells Devers, he's like, we're so screwed. And Devers is like, what do you have to lose? And he's like, I have so much to lose. And it's not just my family, which is being held hostage. They all know how to die, because that's a fair thing to say about them. He's like, I technically have a secret in my mind that I have been able to keep from them. And it's that, like, there is a rebel, like, group on my planet that's that doesn't want anything to do with the Empire. I'm keeping them secret and safe.
Yeah.
And if they go in with the psychic probe
Yeah.
and they do find that out, it's gonna out my entire planet.
Yeah.
It's gonna just bring worse things, not just onto my family, but onto the entire rebel fleet. And Devers is like, oh Christ, I didn't realize this.
Yeah.
So Rios, for whatever reason, I guess because he likes them, he brings them into his office. Because Devers fed him some story that there's like a life sentence out for him, so he doesn't want to go back to the Foundation or some shit.
He does a great job. The writing's great on him. Like you said, he's like a Han Solo character. He's very confident, cocky, and chill. He's never stressed.
He's Han Solo without any of the luck.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I guess.
You'll find out in a second.
Yeah.
So they're pulled into the room, and Rios is basically like, hey, so you're going to get super questioned. You guys should just come out to me now. We can be friends, because if we find anything out, because at this point, Han Solo, Devers has basically convinced them not to go on his ship. One of the soldiers went on the ship without him and was like looking through his shit and blasted his own head off, whether it was by design or not.
Yeah.
It worked to his advantage.
And it was just like a everyday tool.
Yeah.
It was just like a cutter.
Yeah,
I don't know, like a
they
drill
would
or
use it for
something.
mining or some shit.
Yeah.
And this guy basically pointed it at his head.
Oh yeah, and at the widest setting or something it says.
Yeah,
too.
and like blasted his own head off.
Mm-hmm.
So he had convinced them not to be touching shit.
Yeah.
That's not theirs. But they decided that they were going to raid his ship, and if they found personal shields, which he had hidden, they would know that he's there as a spy.
Yeah, because all the soldiers in the Foundation had personal shields.
Yeah. Everybody of import has
yeah.
personal shields.
Oh, and my point about him being so casual, like, he really does. The writing's really good. And, like, he's like, I'm just a trader. Like, I don't know how this shit works.
He literally calls him boss. He's like, all right, boss.
Yeah. But you could see it. Like, that'd be true. Like, if you were selling, like, crazy computers or high-tech, like, I don't know, I could sell night vision goggles or something and, you know, what did they call them? javelin missiles or something. Be like, I don't know how this works. I just sell the stuff. You would kind of believe, you could picture somebody being able to sell that picture. Believable.
Which a lot of the traders do just have quotas, and you just go around just.
But somebody, is it in this book? They say they're agents, what they call traders. Like, it might have been Rios who realized that is a front.
No, that's actually in book 1. When you find out, when you first meet the traders, that it comes out that they're agents for the Foundation.
Yeah, but like somebody from the Empire knows that. Like they see through we're just merchants.
It was one of the planets close to the Empire. As the Foundation was trying to spread, they were suspicious of the traders because the traders brought with them the missionaries in order to like open trade. They would come peddling their wares, and then they'd be like, if you want to trade with us, or if you want to...
I think I'm hearing something from this book, but don't worry about it. Go ahead.
Anyway.
Yeah.
The point is, Rios basically calls him into the office and is like, yo, be square with me. Like, I like you guys.
Yeah. But
I will kill you guys if I have to. And so while he's like doing his supervillain speech, Deucen Bar, the old man, because at this point he is an old man, he's been like holding a bust of Cleon II, the Emperor, in his hand that this guy happens to have in his office.
Yeah. And
he just like swings it at the back of his head. And he's not sure if he killed him or not, but they just basically use that to like leave.
Yeah, he's definitely knocked out.
Yeah, and they had bribed. He grabs Rios' gun. They had bribed this soldier previously. Like, it was how they were getting information on what was happening. So like this soldier was the one that had warned them that this questioning with the psychic probe was gonna happen. So they get this soldier to like take them back to this trader's ship, Devers' ship, and they're gonna basically leave. And I felt bad because like they literally had this little conversation where they had given the soldier a pocket freezer or some shit.
Like that was helping his wife at home.
Yeah, and he was like, how's your wife? He's like, she's doing great. Yeah. She loves the refrigerator. Thank you. And then he's like, oh my god, that's the general's gun. You killed him. Yeah. No. And he's like, I can't let you go. I'm going to kill you. Yeah. And they're like, so they like kill him.
So anyways, I started blasting.
Yeah.
Literally.
They kill him, and I'm like, oh, Jeffrey. That wasn't his name.
I know. Who knows?
His name's like Steve or some shit.
That part was cool because a lot of Asimov, this whole dynamic really is playing off of the Cold War, the Soviet, like, made most famous with Reagan. I forget the guys. Gorbachev comes over here. Somebody comes over here from the Soviets and is blown away by, our appliances and stuff. And like Reagan had a whole thing just showing off like these are common conveniences for us. And the Soviets were like blown away. And so he's doing that. Like, imagine you could get something like that. Some guy in the worst of the Soviet era with like some top of the line American, dishwasher or washing machine or something.
He's like, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, comrade.
Yeah. So yeah, that guy he liked our heroes here, our Foundation fellas.
But he also all the soldiers are known for like fawning over this general.
Yeah, because like I said, he's one of the few like noble generals still. But he got hit by a statue, a bust of Cleon.
He had also done some crazy shit that won him everybody's respect. That I don't remember.
That's what I mean, like being a competent, actual fighting man.
So they escape, and they're like, what do we do now? And they're like, Devers and Bar are basically like, all right, we'll go to the Emperor, and we'll give him a story that these guys are out to take over. Because before they left, after he smashed his head in, he grabbed a, what are they called? Like a personal capsule, which is like a little message.
Oh, yeah.
That Rios received. And Devers happens to have, like, if it was a Foundation capsule, you wouldn't be able to break into it, but because it's an Empire capsule, is weak.
Low tech, yeah.
Low tech, weak. So he has this little robot that's able to like open it without.
He does have a robot. I forgot all about the robot. Right, like in the ship or something.
It's like
Is my brain adding
'cause
something to it?
No, it is like a little robot, but it's not like sentient. It's just like
Okay. It's
a
not
little
some
spider
astromech type thing.
No, it's just like a little
Okay.
spider claw thing that like opens the capsule and then can reseal it basically.
Okay.
And he was like making fun because the capsule opens and it's like written piece of paper, and if it was from the Foundation and so important, it would have dissolved and
Oh, okay. I think
it makes sense. But it was just a bragging point.
I must be attaching my love of R. Daniil when you get to the robot series. I remember he had a robot assistant, but yeah, it's not really
No,
humanoid
it wasn't.
or anything.
It was really like
Even a
it's more like a
personality.
tool than a robot.
Yeah, it has no personality, right?
No, none.
Yeah.
So this message, I don't think I have highlighted what it says, but the message was basically like,
had it over here.
to our end.
Yeah.
Like the point was that it could be manipulated to show that Rios and
ultimate ends. There's a message about working out the ultimate ends.
Yeah, and the ultimate end could be that they're gonna take over the Empire.
Yeah.
Brodrig and Rios.
Mm.
Look at that, I did it.
Brodig. Yeah.
Christ.
It's my fault. I added the R.
So they decide to space jump. Space jump. That's
It's
not the
one of them
word.
space jumps through the blue thing. Hyperspace jump. I don't remember what they call it, but it's hyperspace.
Yeah, they hyperspace their way
Yeah.
to Trantor.
Capital of the Empire still.
Yeah, because the Empire still exists.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, in part of their trying to get bribed, Bodrig
Yeah.
gave Devers $100,000
Yeah.
for something. I don't remember what it was.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is, he has $100,000 in credits,
Mm-hmm.
and he basically, him and Dusan Bar are going to use this money to try to, not bargain, what's it called? Bribe their way through the social circle. Because you have to put in like a request to see the Emperor, but he's like, there are times that he's not seeing people because he was also dying of like an ailment that no one has been able to figure out or cure, and it bothers him. And then he also takes like summers away, and it's just
He's
a hard
chilling.
guy to get a hold of.
You know, he's playing with it's even in the Bible where like you could just petition to see the Emperor. They would claim like I don't know if it's like I don't understand how that would work logistically. If you got millions of people, how the hell did that work? How'd that work for the Romans? But that's what, Asimov is playing with here. But it's hilarious to think like there's billions or trillions of people in this galaxy-spanning empire.
Everybody wants to see the Emperor.
And you're like, all right, take a ticket. He's on his summer vacation because he's still just one guy. But that's, like I said, they got to bribe their way through the ranks.
So this takes time. Devers thought this would be faster, but Bar's like, no, dude, this is gonna take like months.
Yeah.
And that's if we can catch him before summer. If we miss him, then we have to wait till he comes back for the fall. So they're like trying to bribe their way through these social circles, and they get to this one circle where the guy's like, ha, I am actually secret police. You guys are a bunch of liars.
Mm-hmm.
So they kill him, and they run away.
Well, because he shoots Devers, and Devers has the energy shield.
Yeah.
Which is, alien
Nothing
technology
happens
of
to him.
these guys. This whole part is written super long. I mean, like, not long, I mean, like, super detailed. I don't know why he put it... What, you didn't like it? Are you doing it?
This was probably more interesting of part one.
Yeah. I don't know why, like, the pace or something. Like, that's what I mean, but I still remember from the first time reading it, like, you feel like you're on Trantor. It does a good job of imagining it. Like I said, compare Coruscant and Star Wars. There's underworlds. There's all kinds of... I don't know, it's just hectic, and... I don't know, it's just cool little part. And you'd like that the most of part one, or one of the best parts of part one?
Yeah, I mean, part one was just kind of boring. I'll explain why it was important, though, in a second. Let's just finish our little summary. So...
Do it.
They kill the guy. They realize, like, they wasted all this time because now they have to leave Trantor.
Yeah, because they just murdered a Secret Service.
Yeah. So they're leaving, and then as they're leaving, for whatever reason, Dusenbar grabs a newspaper, and the newspaper says that Rios and what's his name?
Broderick.
Yeah. Have been recalled.
Yeah.
So they're like, screw it, let's go back to the Foundation. I don't know what's going on, but let's go get details from people we actually want to talk to. So they go back to the Foundation, and they find out that the Foundation has won. Rios has been recalled, even though his enclosure had been completed, and he was gonna for sure surround the Foundation and take over and all this other shit. So it turns out the Emperor started getting nervous because he was hearing about how him and Bodrig are like doing so well out there on the periphery and gaining so much power, and he basically got nervous that they were gonna like turn on him. So he called them back, and then he actually had Rios murdered. Executed. Guess it's not murder when the Emperor does it.
Yeah, really. Which is cool, Harry Seldon-ness, because this is all part of the story called Dead Hand, so it's the dead hand of Harry Seldon still guiding history. But again, it's like super just archetypes. If you're an empire in this fragile state, and you can't let him get too strong. You got this charismatic, younger, successful emperor. Like, clearly that's who's going to try and take the throne eventually. And he's hanging out with your richest guy, your confidant, the richest guy in I don't know if he's the richest guy in the empire, but they make a point that he's wealthier than the emperor himself. So you got him hanging out with your charismatic, young, successful general.
I'm actually looking because I had...
Who he also could have feared was being bribed by Foundation. Like, imagine if he joined Foundation.
Anything. The problem is that it's a powerful emperor, and it's a popular emperor. That's the other thing that he's described as.
Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Cleon has our guy killed.
Dang, I can't find it, because it basically is this really good quote where it's like, because when they're back on Foundation, like, they're basically received as kind of like war heroes, even though they feel like they didn't do anything, because they didn't. They were just kind of like held captive.
They shot a guy who didn't know about shields.
And then like did a horrible job bribing their way to see the Emperor. Even though everything they wanted to do and intended to do happened anyway. Yeah. And Devers is literally like, so we could have just not done anything, not wasted our time, and they would have. It would have all happened exactly the way it happened anyway.
By Seldon.
And so this is that's kind of the concept, and why I get why this story had to be included, because this is Seldon's, like, this becomes a proof later that Seldon's crisis and
that is mapping of the future.
Psychohistory it makes sense. It's also necessary because during this time and this crisis, no one went to see Seldon appear in the little box that he always appears in.
Yeah, the crypt and the...
So people are just becoming... Is the word complacent? No.
Yeah, they are. They're complacent. You don't have to. Who cares? If it's all mapped out, who cares?
Yeah, like, it's fine. The Foundation will
Because that's why you got a dope for mayor. Like, I mean, that proves it too. Like, there is no urgency.
Like, it just doesn't matter. The Foundation is immune to whatever because of Harry Seldon's calculations.
Yeah, it's like positive fatalism. It'll work out.
Harry Seldon has calculated that everything will work out. Always.
Yeah.
Sort of.
It's, it might be true, but you could still suffer. And like our characters here are seeing, like, yeah, but my personal life I could try and like do X or Y.
Well, I think the curveball comes with part 2.
With Mr. Hee-Haw.
Hee-Haw, yep.
Yeah.
As I'm trying to teach our daughter the sounds the animals make.
Yeah, the animals play all day.
Christ, if you know the purple monkey.
If you got a baby, you know. The purple monkeys.
You and me, we could be.
Don't do it. Don't sing it. So yeah, part 2. So that's the end of part 1. Like, they just, I didn't actually feel like it was...
Oh, the other reason. My bad. I almost missed it, but now you mentioned the end of part 1.
Yeah.
The other reason that part 1 is important is because basically Pharrell, one of the main dudes is ends
Great musician
that
too.
that part. Speaking with Dusenbar and with Devers,
Yeah.
and
The
they're
Han
talking
Solo
about how
spy
the
man.
Empire is probably going to fall because Cleon's going to die. There's going to be another civil war. The Empire can't really take many more civil wars, so it's probably going to fall apart. And he's like, great, so when that happens, we won't have any more enemies. And it is mentioned that there is a second foundation, and I highlighted it because my gut said this is important.
Yeah, by then the second foundation exists. They all know it. I can't believe we
I mean,
almost passed over this.
Rios mentions it earlier.
Yeah, even in book 1, right?
Yeah, well, no. In the same book, when he's talking to the traitor Devers, he kind of mentions that there could be a second foundation, and Devers is like, that's like a story that we tell our kids to go to sleep. Nobody's been able to ever prove, because it's true. Up until part 2 of this book, there isn't even proof. Like, people have mentioned and know that this second foundation basically exists.
But they don't know.
But nobody knows where it is. Like, it's not like the first foundation where everyone knew the location and everyone knew what was up. And like this second foundation is drenched in secrecy. Drenched in it.
It's dripping.
Dripping secrecy.
That conversation though is super important. Like they said, he says you have it there. You were just looking at it before we started. It's Devers, our Han Solo guy, is talking with one of the oligarch guys that there's 2 threats, kind of. One, people that don't want to spread the wealth out, spread progress and civilization, the whole point of the foundation, that they're going to kind of want to hoard the wealth and kind of concentrate it on, not Trantor, on Terminus, which is just going to repeat the mistakes of the Empire. But also, their enemy in the future will be the second foundation.
Here, by the way, I have a series of highlights that I think will help.
Go for it.
Break down the Harry Seldon logic. Events have shown that 3/4 of the emperors of the last 2 centuries were rebel generals and rebel viceroys before they were emperors. So it is only the combination of strong emperor and strong general that can harm the foundation. For a strong emperor cannot be dethroned easily, and a strong general is forced to turn outwards past the frontiers. What kept Cleon strong? It's obvious. He is strong because he permits no strong subjects.
Yeah.
Which would be his...
Meaning being pushed out.
A general who becomes too popular is dangerous. Did Rios refuse a bribe? Very suspicious. Ulterior motives. Did his most trusted courtier suddenly favor Rios? Very suspicious. Ulterior motives. With an empire in which every aristocrat, every strongman, every pirate can aspire to the throne, and as history shows often successfully, what would happen to even a strong emperor would preoccupied himself. What would happen?
That's that Florida education, I tell you.
What would happen to even a strong emperor who preoccupied himself with foreign wars at the extreme end of the galaxy? How long would he have to remain? Wait 1 second. It's too big a highlight. It doesn't fit in the excerpt. Oh, I just got kicked for inactivity.
She needs a bigger Kindle.
What would happen to even a strong emperor who preoccupied himself with foreign wars at the extreme end of the galaxy? How long would he have to remain away from the capital before somebody raised the standards of civil war and forced him home?
No, it's really great.
So this is his breakdown of why this all happened. So, and then said Pharrell, there are no more enemies. Barr was thoughtful. There's a second foundation. And then the last,
which is all it said. But
Devers also said there might be another enemy, which is people, for instance, who might like to spread the wealth a bit and keep it from concentrating too much out of the hands that work for it. See what I mean? So that's basically the end of part 1. In summary.
Yeah.
Summary. I got kicked for
I know. I don't know if you can join. I'll just back out.
I don't think so.
I will back out, and we will talk that. Yes, that's that's all that was said there. That he just acknowledges Second Foundation exists, and
I think this, for me, that also foreshadowed that Second Foundation was going to be a problem.
yeah, I
And it
don't
makes
remember
sense what
much
happens in
of
the
part
second
3. And I'll
Oh, the third book.
yeah, third book. I'm sure it'll come to me. So I'm saying I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but I think one of the genius things that Harry Seldon, Asimov, looking back on history and hopefully the future, if you want to know who's going to win something, let's make it against two people where you don't care if either one wins. Like, let's use evolution, right? May the better civilization survive, but craft two foundations so that even when they go to war, the winner is still a foundation. Like, that's...
I mean, if Foundation 1 or Foundation 2 wins,
yeah.
then Foundation win in the end.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the principles of the foundation wins.
And, I mean, I guess to spoil part 2, that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
That's kind
We'll
of
just
what
start
part
with
2...
tell you the end. But that's not really a spoiler.
I mean, it kind of is.
Go ahead. Who's the mule?
I mean...
Well, all right.
There are so many layers of spoiler to this.
Yeah. I guess don't say the mule yet.
I actually have... Wait. I highlighted where they first mentioned the mule.
What a silly name, you might be thinking.
Less is known of the mule than any character of comparable significance to the galactic history.
Mm-hmm.
So they like bring up the mule and how he's this like new character that nobody knows anything about.
Yeah.
And then you meet these two young, recently married couple.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is descendant of a trader family.
Mm-hmm.
Prominent trader family, I'm going to say. And she is actually an underground...
She's a turnip. She lives underground.
No, she's an underground Foundation Democrat. Because what's happened at the Foundation is that they've actually become like a dictatorship. This one guy took over and basically made it so that the mayor position, which used to be only a position that could be won through election,
Yeah.
is now passed down generation to generation.
Yep, just
That's
typical
how
strong man bully, like literally. Like, oh, it's that simple? Like, it's, you kind of go like, wait, really? But it's like, yeah, if you know any real history, it's like, oh, really?
And I think some of it comes along because, like, it kind of doesn't matter. Seldon's whatever will always prevail in in these people's eyes.
Yeah.
So, like, who cares who's mayor?
Yeah.
Everything will operate as it should, and everybody will be fine.
Yeah.
So, you have Iber.
Yeah.
The worst mayor name in the planet.
Mm. And
he's actually described as being a good bookkeeper that was born into the wrong station.
He should have just been that.
Yeah.
No charisma.
But he's basically the mayor of the Foundation. We have these two characters that are not, because we find out that there's like a traitor. There's different planets that are kind of all traitor planets. And they're part of a traitor union, but not really. They're not actually united. It's part of the problem. Is that none of these traitors are actually, like, the one time that they get together, I highlighted it because it talked about how, like, every petty little detail had to be figured out before they could get together.
Which is like a real union.
Yeah. But basically, what had happened was, sorry.
It's okay.
We are into shit.
Yeah. We got a guy with a
Did
riot
I just
shield.
throw a grenade at myself?
Riot shield was rushing you.
So.
Yeah. Which my grandpa used to be a union head up in old Pittsburgh, and apparently the only few stories I know, that is how it was. Just a bunch of bickering. Everybody stuck in their petty little personal grievances.
My family ran from communism.
Losing the plot. Yeah. Giant union. Countrywide committee.
Yeah.
So,
So this couple's recently married. He's taking the girl who's a Foundation citizen to his home planet, which is Haven. It's a trader planet, a little red dwarf type place.
Okay.
So he takes her there. They meet his uncle, and his uncle's like, "Hey, we have this great idea because we've been hearing about this guy called the Mule, and he's supposedly taken over the planet of Calgran, which is I probably said it wrong.
No, you got it right. Oh.
But it's like it was funny because it's like a vacation place. It's not even really like a producing planet or trader planet. It's like where people go to gamble and drink and relax.
It's just Vegas.
It's just like a beach planet.
Yeah.
And he was like,
Vegas, Miami planet.
I know you guys got married. Have you guys had your honeymoon?
Actually, funny enough, like, it's Cuba, because this is written before the commies. That's pretty funny. Because I'm like, where would a gambling beach place be?
Yeah.
That's funny.
So he's like, have you guys done your honeymoon yet? They're like, I mean, our honeymoon was kind of just a trip here. He's like, all right, well, we're going to send you on a subsidized trip to Calgran.
You win a trip to Calgran.
But we just want you to go as observers. We don't want you doing nothing crazy.
Acting a fool.
We need to see if you can get in touch with the mule.
Yeah.
So they go and they're on like the beach, and they haven't seen any activity that's mule related. It sounded horrible also.
Yeah. They weren't in Mexico.
So basically Beta, the wife, Baita.
Yeah.
Bayta.
I know. However you want to say that.
He calls her Bay or Bay.
Bay. Let's just call her Bay.
Bay.
'Cause she is Bay.
She actually is. I have to admit, she is Bay. She's described as being not like crazy beautiful, but she's got a simple beauty to her. But she's also got these like eyes that everyone says basically are like,
ooh la la.
I don't know, like why? I don't know.
Wild
Why is the
eyes.
word I'm looking for? I don't know. Anyway,
She got crazy eyes.
No, but she does command a kind of like respect or something. Something about her seems to catch people's eye. Actually, it's constantly written that she walks around with the same confidence as the men. So I thought that was kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
Because my mom used to tell me that I walk like a guy.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the same thing.
That's what drew me to you. I was like, look at this guy. Oh, well, it'll do.
That'll do.
That'll do, pig.
You didn't even watch that movie.
I know. I'm appropriating your American culture.
That's a great movie you didn't even watch.
The constant joke is that I don't know anything. She's like, where did you grow up?
I have to, like, he didn't know basic He-Man stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay.
Anyways, they're on their Calgan. You got Bay.
So they're on
Bay's
the beach.
being Bay on the
and
beach.
They see this clown, and he's getting...
Clown getting harassed.
Yeah. And so they kind of, like, defend him.
See, I'm not a clown fan. My bigotry towards clowns would have saved the day. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. It would save us in that, in the movie It.
Yeah.
Like, I swear, if Freddy sees a clown in the sewer, I'm pretty sure he's going to hope for rain.
I see anybody, but, especially a clown.
Sorry, guys. Whoever's a clown professor.
Yeah, really.
Whoever's in the
we
clowning
just triggered the
profession out
clown
there,
community.
Like, Freddy just don't like y'all.
Mm-hmm. So they see the clown man with Magnifico Gigantus or something.
Yeah, and then he, like, begs them to help him because he says that he was a fool for the mule and that he escaped, but the mule is after him. So they basically tell the guards that are harassing him that... 1 second.
Yeah, so the clown he says he's fleeing from the mule, who's a, tyrant.
Yeah.
Crazy guy.
So, they tell the guards that they're Foundation citizens, even though they're technically not. Like, she technically is, but she's, like, got some underground stuff going on. And then he's not actually a Foundation citizen. He's a traitor that's part of the Foundation.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
basically,
not actually
they're like,
born.
we're from the Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
If you want him back, you're going to have to get him through us. And you know that because we're from the Foundation, you don't want to do that. You meet us on our ship. And honestly, you might as well send the mule to us. So they go to the ship and they're expecting to see the mule. And the clown's like got this ridiculous fear about him. Like, it's described later as neurotic fear.
Yeah. And the audiobook does a strange, like, good job. Like, I don't know why it's just so burned in my head how weird he is. His voice.
He's made weird. Like, he talks weird.
Yeah.
He acts weird.
I'm just a silly clown.
So a man approaches the ship, and it turns out that the man is part of the secret, like, he's part of the secret police or, like, the information police for the Foundation. And he heard that this couple has this, like, clown that's associated with the mule. And he's basically like, you got to get him out of here because he might be, like, not anyone or not many people have actually seen the mule in person. And this guy might actually have something of importance that can help us in his mind. So take him with you. We're all going to go back to the Foundation.
Which is a funny parallel to what our general Rios was doing.
Why did I do that?
You got to keep the guy. He wanted to meet with Bar because Bar's dad had met with a magician. So now they want to keep the clown because the clown has met with the mule.
Their idea is that they'll actually use a psychic probe on the clown.
Yeah, that's
they
what
end
I
up
mean,
not being able to do that because... Yeah, you are right. They end up not being able to use a psychic probe, though. Unlike on Bar, who had the
he had
jewelry.
the atomic block. Yeah, jewelry blocker.
They're scared that this clown is so scared that if they probe too deep with the probe,
he's so fragile and he's terrorized, he's traumatized.
It'll mess him up.
Yeah. So the probe will, scramble his brains too much.
Yep. Which his brains are already kind of scrambled to begin with, in their opinion. So they run to the Foundation, and Iber is acting like it's no big thing. The mule is not a big deal, and he's been acting like that for a while. Like this guy, Captain, I'm not gonna get his name right. Partridger.
Yeah.
He basically had been warning the mayor about the mule for a while because he'd been on his, and the mayor had got mad at him. So now they show up with Magnifico, and the mayor still doesn't give two shits. But the mule is taking over stuff.
Yeah, because the mule's, an active warlord. He's taken over all kinds of areas. He's not with the Empire, and he's not with the Foundation.
No, he's just the Empire's fallen at this point.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true. It was just casually mentioned, by the way, barbarians took over the Empire.
Yeah, like what remains of the Empire is like remnants. So they're at the Foundation. Iber's there. The mule starts to basically press towards the Foundation. There's some revolt or like pushback, but it ends up being that the mule just slowly takes over. It's described that the whole city has this feeling of like everyone's kind of in this state of like unrest or unease more than unrest. People just burst out crying. Like Beta Bay works in a factory, and this is on Haven that happens, my bad. On Foundation, they all get together.
Yeah, on Terminus.
Because my favorite character that
Oh, that's true. It's the reveal. She didn't tell me who this was yet. Go ahead.
My favorite character was Ebis.
Yeah.
No, Miss
Eblin. Yeah. Jeez, how do you do this to me all the time? Ebling Miss.
Yeah, Ebling Miss. He is my favorite character of all of them.
Yeah. I just say, yeah, okay.
Like, he was so fun. He reminded me of like a Willy Wonka type, but a psychologist. So he's actually a psychologist and the only psychologist on the Foundation.
Yeah, which doesn't say it's rare. They made a whole point of that in book 1.
Well, the whole point of there not being many psychologists was that, technically, the theory was that if they had a strong psychology group,
Yeah.
they could technically predict or work to predict Harry Seldon's.
Yeah, his plan is the plotting of the future. They're going to meddle with it. They're going to know what they're supposed to do, and that's going to affect the calculation. Everybody's supposed to act naturally, not be trying to...
They're actually not even supposed to know.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, they can't know the plan. That's why he would only appear after a crisis to basically kind of give reassurance. Like, see?
Man, I have cool quotes from him, but if I try to find them right now, I'm going to get booted. I'll just get booted.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It'll be fine.
Ebling Miss. Yeah. So he's the only psychologist on Terminus. Excuse me.
Oh, and she's cool, by the way. I'm pretty sure that I think I highlighted it because I think Beta's lineage could be, she could trace her ancestry back to Mallow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that. That's funny. That's cool.
Oh yeah, and what has happened to the Foundation in this time? 1 second. The laws of history are as absolute as the laws of physics, and if the probabilities of error are greater, it is only because history does not deal with as many humans as physics does atoms, so that the individual variations count for more.
I like it. He said it's predicting people in mass, not the individual, but like I said, these parallel lives across time. You know these types of things are going to happen. These beings are going to pop up.
The fat guts of their money bags ruin the Foundation, while the brave traders hide their poverty on dregs of worlds like Haven. Devers died in the slave mines 80 years ago with your husband's great-grandfather because he lacked wisdom and didn't lack heart.
What?
If the cutthroats who lured the Foundation... They just sneak that in there, by the way.
Yeah, they're saying that our Han Solo guy died in a mine?
Yep.
He just... Jesus, that strikes my ancestral soul.
If the cutthroats who lured the Foundation killed him because he loved justice, the greater the blood debt owed them.
That's crazy. Then that has to be who he was talking that mad ish to at the end. I mean, the whole point. Who was our guy last time? Damn it, I'm blanking on his name.
Farrell.
Farrell, yeah. Because he was just being
Farrell,
slick to
Farrell
the oligarch.
was a traitor. I mean, he came from...
Yeah, but wasn't he one of the super rich guys?
Yeah, he was.
Illuminati types. So I don't think it's a quinky dink that he's talking slick to him and ends up toiling away, dying in a mine somewhere.
I do know the traders are unhappy. They feel that the Foundation gets to reap a lot of benefits, and probably, like, I don't remember if you remember from the first book, but they talk about how the traders setup is kind of done, and it's like when they're talking about the deals, and the traders set up the deals and the Foundation gets a portion. So I don't know if the Foundation started to negotiate or change what percent they keep.
Yeah, and they don't do any work.
Yeah.
It's just a tax for no representation. Taxation without representation.
Yeah.
I wonder what that could result in.
I remember in the first book, I think it's Mallow even, that basically is like, hey man, we're just going to be trading stuff. Like, I get a percent, the Foundation keeps a percent, but I keep a percent. So, the bigger the deal, the more money I keep. I don't really care about their religion thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, so it's gone beyond its purpose like the religion angle did.
Yeah. The traders no longer are getting...
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
A fair deal. And then you got...
Then it said, you traders may have the will, because they were saying, like, the traders had the will to, like, possibly fight back, but you are hunted and disunited.
Yeah. It's just playing, you know, when it's a new organization, new government, everybody's kind of equal, and then you already get this calcification of this ruling class in the Foundation.
And a comment on the people of the Foundation. Among them, some hold the whip, and the rest are whipped, dead whipped. Not enough spunk left on the whole rotten world to outface one good trader.
Huh.
I told you I got some good ones.
No, I know. And there are those little bars like that. Where
Like-
Asimov's writing style, you know, like I was saying, it's not going to be written as like, wow, such a great writer, but he is efficient.
We literally have one of the characters, I think it's the captain that goes in. He's going to be reprimanded for not following orders. So he walks in, and two officials in the straight line costume of 3 centuries back stepped out and called an audience to Captain Han Pritcher of Information.
Yeah.
So I highlighted that to just indicate how the Foundation has started to grow stagnant.
Yeah.
Even the officials are wearing the same costumes that they would have wore 300 years ago.
Yeah. But it also reminds me of the Empire. There's a line in the in the first part.
They say
about
it.
their gray suits and shit.
So Mayor Imber was the third of the name and the second to succeed by right of birth, and was the least of the three, for he was neither brutal nor capable, but merely an excellent bookkeeper born wrong.
Okay, yeah, that's what you were thinking of.
Yep.
That's cool.
To him, a stilted geometric love of arrangement was the system, oh my god.
Indefensibly or indefinably?
Tangible. Wow. And feverish interest in the pettiest facets of day-to-day bureaucracy were indecision when right was caution, and blind stubbornness when wrong was determination. You see, he said, in my administration, nothing is left to chance. Order, system. So that's Imber speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And then I love this. So I highlighted this because this was just a characteristic of the mayor. He lifted a pink-scented jelly globule to his lips. It was his one vice, but dawlingly indulged in. Witnessed the fact that the mayor's desk lacked the almost inevitable atom flash for the disposal of dead tobacco, for the mayor did not smoke, nor as a matter of course did his visitors.
Yeah, I don't know what
So
that tells you about him, but yeah.
I just think it's funny
candies.
because my favorite character, he comes running in. So like the mayor used to make you, when you would visit him, you had to bow.
What?
And then there was just his desk and his very ridiculously large, wide chair. And there was no seating for the people that come in to see him. You have to stand. You can only respond when a question had been asked of you. You could not just speak out of turn. And you could not smoke in his presence because he didn't approve of smoking. So I really want to go find my favorite character's entrance.
Yeah. Ebling.
No, Miss. Oh, yeah, sorry. Ebling. You're
Miss.
right.
Ebling Meese, I think, actually, is how it's pronounced in the audio. But again, these quirky, zany spacer names from our 1940s man Asimov here.
Oh, this was part of the mayor's worry, too. The traitors you dismiss are Foundation derived. A war with them would be a civil war. Selden's plan makes no guarantee there for us, since they and we are Foundation.
Yeah, because like you said, Foundation's going to win. But when Foundation realizes there's two Foundation, it's like saying humanity's going to win. It's like, oh no, my enemy is me.
The Foundation can never lose, but that does not mean the rulers of the Foundation can't. Didn't the real history of the Foundation begin when Salver Hardin kicked out the encyclopedist and took over the planet Terminus as the first mayor. So those are all notes.
Yeah. Like I said, it's no real comfort to you to know. Like, but you're like your side won.
Yeah. So those are all kind of just hinting for me that something's gonna happen kind of internally. I just got kicked for an activity.
Yeah, with Foundation. I'm coming. I'll back out. Y'all.
I'm looking for the intro of my favorite guy.
Okay, well, let me just back out. Mr. Ebling Meese.
Describing the mule.
Yeah.
He is a man of overpowering might, respected, sir, and cruel in the use of his power, and his eyes, respected, sir, no one sees.
I'm wondering how they did that, because we got to get back to our friggin' outline here.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, do your quote, but then we'll get back to the outline.
My favorite is, he goes, Galaxy. Because he basically busted in. No wait for the usual rigid line of command to pass his request up and the favored reply down, but having thrown the less disreputable of his two formal jackets over his shoulders and pounded an odd hat of impossible design on one side of his head and lit a forbidden cigar into the bargain. Dang it, open. Where is it? Sorry, I had to open it because the excerpt was too big again. And lit a forbidden cigar into the bargain. He barged past two ineffectually bleeding guards and into the mayor's palace. So he busts in to the mayor's garden, which you're not allowed to do when he's in his garden.
Yeah,
it is his private time.
Dainty rules.
Yeah, Ebling Mist looked down at his mayor with what was apparently shocked disbelief. Galaxy and Burr. Didn't you get my note yesterday? I handed it to a flunky in a purple uniform day before. I would have handed it to you direct, but I know how you like formality. Just his utter, and then where is it? There's one part where he just straight up. Oh yeah, here we go. He stands up, he goes up to the guy's desk, shoves all the papers off violently, and sat upon a corner of it. So this is just the tone. This is the what's up with my favorite character.
Yeah.
So he's a psychologist, and he's just basically coming to the mayor, and he's like, look, the fourth Selden crisis is coming, and he goes, I haven't figured out the actual crisis, but I know by studying the time vault when the next crisis will be, by at least being able to tell you when Harry Selden is going to appear again.
Yeah, because it was 50-year intervals in the beginning. I don't know if I imagine it changed. It can't be that regular.
No, I believe
100 years
gaps.
Yeah, passed for sure since the Empire fell.
So he tells the mayor that Harry Selden's going to show up in, I think, a month.
That's pretty specific.
Something like that.
Yeah, let's see if he's the next Harry Selden.
No, it actually ends up being that, because they end up all going to the time vault that day. And the mayor even has his super mayor seat brought into the time vault. Super mayor seat. At this point, they have captured, because fleeing from the government of Calgan are the married couple and the clown. And the Foundation's basically taken them because they don't know. Oh, and the captain. So they don't know what's what or who's who or whatever. So they have them as prisoners, but they have everybody inside of the time capsule. And Harry Selden appears, and he's basically warning them about an upcoming civil war between the traitors and
Foundation,
Foundation
and Terminus.
And they're like, what? This isn't the crisis that we're facing. The hell's Harry's wrong.
Yeah.
He didn't calculate this out. And they were like, you guys are gonna do because the
Yeah, because they
traders
think they're
have been
fighting the
brought in.
mule. The mule must be the issue, right?
Yep. So
Yeah.
the traders have been brought in,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, "You guys are gonna do a civil war against us?" And the traders are like,
What?
"We were actually planning to, but I mean, then the mule showed up, and we kind of realized that
Like, who talked?
we should probably throw our money in with you guys,
Mhm.
because if he's taking over everything, we're not.
Yeah.
He's gonna run shit his way. At
Mhm.
least a cat we know."
Yeah, better the devil you know, the cat.
So that happens. And so while they're doing 4 months, sorry. It was in 4 months, not 1 month, 4
Okay.
months.
Still, that's crazy.
So while they're waiting, the traders had got together. They decided that they were gonna throw in with the foundation. So everybody is there for the opening of this time capsule, basically. Already our main Taver, I think is it Tavern or something.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Is this guy's name? His uncle is part of the governing body of Haven, the trading
Yeah.
planet, and he's trying to tell, because the way that they've split up the fleet doesn't make sense, and his uncle's not sure of it making sense, and he's trying to get the mayor to not split the fleet up the way he is. But the only moment that he has to do that is right to talk to the mayors before the capsule opens, because the mayor doesn't care to meet with anyone. So he tries to talk to the mayor. Mayor gets mad. Harry does his thing. It ends up being wrong, and then all these sirens start going off. And there's this.
No, what's wrong?
The prediction.
Yeah, right. Okay, that's what I thought.
Sorry, the prediction was wrong.
Yeah.
But also, what's wrong? Because all these sirens are going off like they're being attacked.
That's funny.
And there's this feeling of impending doom.
Doom.
Basically,
Mm-hmm.
taking over the entire room. And they realize that the mule's men are attacking as the time capsule has been opened. And the mule had a nuclear depressor, and he could basically turn off nuclear weapons.
He's an
And
alien.
nuclear anything. So
Yeah.
cars were stopped, lights were stopped, all, because the foundation runs on nuclear power.
Yeah.
So everything came to a stop. So the foundation got nervous, and they end up surrendering.
Yeah.
As they surrender, the couple grabs the clown, and they run back to Haven. So they're hiding out on their now home planet of Haven. It's like the husband's home planet. And they're like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do?
Yeah.
So the traders at this point figure out how this nuclear depressor thing works, and they're able to build a counter attack for it. So things are looking promising. The traders are holding off. Things are looking good. But then, for whatever reason, planets start to go under again. And what's peculiar is that when the mule takes over a planet, he doesn't really even have to fight. They just kind of surrender. So his uncle, he starts warning him. He's like, I think you guys should go. I don't know why, but I have this feeling in my gut that the planet doesn't want to fight, that if the mule comes here, everyone's going to want to just fold, and it's just going to be the end of it. And you see this in the people. This is where Beta Chi Bay works in, factory or something. And she'll see women just bursting into tears, and it kills the morale of everyone else.
That. Yeah.
So she knows that the planet is not doing well. Morale is down. They're not going to be able to withstand an entire war against the mule. So she agrees. They end up grabbing the clown. They grab the psychologist that they had grabbed from the foundation, because they all kind of snuck out together. Because the psychologist and the clown have kind of hit it off, and so now they're just a married group of friends.
Yeah.
So they grab him and they just leave, and right as they're kind of leaving, the mule is actually right around the corner. His men are basically attacking the planet, and Haven falls. Like shortly after that, Haven it comes on the radio that Haven has fallen.
Yeah, just after they left.
Shortly after they left, there was like a barricade I think they had to break through, and then they hear on the radio that it fell. And like I know the psychologist and the clown and are in the room when the news comes through, and like basically Tavern goes to like continue piloting the ship and doing these like really random ridiculous jumps through hyperspace that he's doing. And Beta's like, what's wrong with him? And they're like, just leave him alone, the planet fell. I remember she's been married in, so like it hurts, but not as much as like it being your home planet.
Yeah.
So they're now jumping around and they don't know what to do, and it occurs to the professor, my favorite guy, that they should go to Trantor, where there has to be like the writings that Harry Seldon used have to be there. Basically, if he can go and have access to the library, he can try to figure out what the correct next step is. I almost wish. But anyway.
Yeah, because that's the original Trantor, the home of the now fallen empire.
Yeah. So that's where they're headed. In the meantime,
where Harry Seldon lived.
Yeah. In the meantime, back home, that captain that we had met, he's like gonna attempt to assassinate the mule, but he ends up being found out because they were like watching him the entire time. He thought he was being so clever, and they were like, we know everyone you hang out with.
Yeah.
We didn't stop you sooner because we realized it was just going to be easier to have you come to us. Because I forgot how long he was undercover. He like let his beard grow out and everything. Like got a job in a factory and did all this shit. So he ends up getting sent on a mission, and he ends up becoming a man for the mule. So now it's just the clown, the girl, her husband, and the psychologist. They make it to Trantor, but not necessarily Trantor. There's Trantor, and then there's something called New Trantor.
Oh, yeah.
Which is like where the Empire, like the last Imperial family ran to get away from what they called the Great Sack, which was like, I guess, the last Civil War. Once there, they kind of established like the mini empire, and they control 20 planets.
Okay.
It's the current empire.
Like thousands.
The current
at the
emperor.
peak.
Yeah. The current emperor is old and going crazy.
Yeah.
His son wants to take over, and his son has a best friend that thinks he can manipulate the emperor's son. That's kind of where that's at. So they get there, and coincidentally, the mule has already sent out forces to New Trantor. So they actually arrest them, and what happens is that the mayor's son starts looking at Beta with some scheming eyes. And the clown,
lustful, scheming eyes.
The clown, like, he has feelings for her. I want to say he loves her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I needed a snack.
Yeah.
Just a bite.
I just look over, I see. Oh my god.
I just needed a bite.
We got the baby, the dog, and my snacking wife. I think we're gonna win, I don't know, an Emmy maybe for this? Grammy for audio production, if that counts. And I'm gonna win something.
I couldn't help it.
Look, we got new mama mode, and she's trying to stay up. Oh no. Don't worry. She's trying to stay awake, and Watch the baby, make sure she's sleeping.
She's staying asleep.
She's good.
Okay.
You're good. You're good.
Gonna have to do a speed run.
Yeah, go.
So, the clown had been gifted this Vizio sonar machine. It's like a keyboard thing that also does some visual shit.
Mm-hmm.
He starts playing
projector
it, and
hologram, yeah.
somehow through this playing, he kills the mayor's son, and the mayor's son's best friend is left in a stupefied state.
Mm.
And he says it was using that thing, and he did it with a song that he doesn't like to play, supposedly because he doesn't like to do things like that. But he didn't like the way that the mayor's son was looking at Beta.
So the clown...
He didn't like the son's intention, so the clown killed him.
Yeah. With this weird
Busy sonar.
Yeah. But it's like a projection visual... Like I said, Vizio sonar, I guess. The sound waves and visuals.
It has to be tuned.
Yeah.
It has to be tuned, so I picture it as one of those, like... You know those keyboards that you have to breathe into?
Yeah, okay. What's his name?
Except having like some type of visual, like
is it
it's
Eric
super
Clapton?
Psychedelic-y. Like you turn off the lights and then as he plays, like it'd be like those people I could see music.
Yeah, the synesthetics that can visualize.
But like imagine
colors
everyone all of a sudden can visualize whatever the guy is playing.
Yeah.
But it's like
that's a crazy big clue because it expands their mind almost. The way a normal mind doesn't see sounds, you hear them. But with the Vizio sonar, you're actually experiencing, like, it's causing synesthesia. Okay, that's cool. I didn't think of it like that before.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, really. You're welcome,
glad
viewer.
I could be
Vote for our Emmy.
Glad I could be of service.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got past the fact that I had a snack.
Mm-hmm. Redemption.
Redemption.
So he uses this device though to melt their mind in a way. Kind of the only thing close to that would be like the mental probe.
Yeah. So they use this opportunity to go to Trantor and hang out in the library. At the university library, because they go back to there. They go to Trantor, which Trantor has become a farming planet now.
Oh,
it
really?
went from being literally
the
planet of administration and
the head of the empire.
Coruscant. To they literally smashed apart buildings so that they can have dirt, and they now have like cows and sheep and
that's funny.
Chickens,
I didn't know that.
They grow corn.
I mean, I didn't remember that, but yeah.
So that's what's happened to Trantor.
Okay.
But they were able to find the university easy enough. Nobody cares for it. Like, not that nobody cares for it, but they keep it untouched. Like they destroyed other buildings, but certain ones they haven't, and the university falls under their like museum-esque
cultural heritage. Don't mess with it for some weird reason. Oh, it's also described as insanely beautiful in the first one. It was literally the steel is almost silver white. It honestly reminded me of like elves. It was like elven beauty in the first book.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So maybe it was just too nice to break up.
Because they admit that the university, like, you walk in to the library section and it seemed tiny, and then you just go downstairs and it's just this, like, giant underground library. So... Oh no, that guy has a rocket. I ran out of bullets.
It's okay, that means you fought well, comrade.
So, while they're there... The doctor... Ooh, I hope...
Sorry, she's shooting at someone with a pistol. Basically. And she killed him.
I did kill him. UAV activated.
Yeah.
So the doctor, the psychologist, starts immediately getting this urge that he's on the right track. And he starts going through all these books, and he's doing all this crazy studying. And they're watching him, like, waste away, like, and he's acting like he's got some kind of disease. Beta, at some point, separates the doctor from everyone else and is like, are you suspicious of something that I'm suspicious of? And the doctor was like, no, I'm on the verge of figuring this shit out. Get out of here, lady. And he was like, I mean, not like that. I actually really like you. I forget that we're friends. I'm losing myself down here. I'm going crazy, but I need to finish this.
Yeah. In the bowels of the library.
Before he dies, he tells him, he's like, I figured it out. I know where the second foundation is.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So he's like, he's about to tell her. He's like, the second foundation is, and then she literally shoots him.
Yeah.
And
but
her
why does she shoot
husband
him?
Immediately is like, you're a woman of the mule? And she's like, me? Are you fucking crazy?
I don't think Asimov wrote it quite that way, but yeah.
My version was better.
That is implied. Yeah.
Are you fucking crazy?
Mm-hmm.
Have you looked yourself in the mirror?
Yeah.
And she was like, I just saved everyone from the mule.
Yeah.
Because, of course, if you predicted it like I did, yes, the clown is the mule. Because Beta was like, you lumbering fool.
You lumbering fool.
You and I were a bunch of nobodies. Mm-hmm. You're going to tell me that we somehow always, after finding this clown, somehow escaped every single pinch. We somehow got off Calgren. We somehow were able to get off of Foundation. We were somehow able to get off of Haven. Mm-hmm. We were somehow, like, miraculously, the Empire, the Emperor's son is killed.
Yeah.
None of that suspect. And then on top of that, like, when the Emperor's son was killed, didn't you sense the same thing I did? Where it was the same feeling of impending doom that entered our minds? Now, what you don't know, that I forgot to tell you, is that the psychologist did a whole breakdown.
Uh-oh, and she got quotes for it, y'all.
I have quotes.
She got
It's going to take me a second.
Mm-hmm. While I look at the baby monitor with more fear than the mule can induce.
Basically.
What will happen?
So he said, well, do you know that it is very easy to find, because he said, you want the second foundation, don't you? Doctor was saying. Mm-hmm. Well, do you know that it is very easy to find from them the exact location of the first foundation? If you know anything at all about psychohistory, it's frequently referred to when you understand the equations. But, Torrin, nobody mentions the second foundation. There's been no reference to it anywhere. And he goes on to say that it's because it is the key foundation. 1 second, I have so many notes that it takes a minute to... It's the critical one, the one that counts. Foundation number 1 was a world of physical scientists. It represented a concentration of the dying science of the galaxy under conditions necessary to make it live again. No psychologists were included. Foundation number 2 was a world of... Hey, go back. Why'd you scroll so much? Foundation number 2 was a world of mental scientists. It was the mirror image of our world. Psychology, not physics, was king. Triumphantly, you see? Or you said that triumphantly he means.
Yeah.
But there's a part... because he said...
Yeah, second foundation is all people doing psychohistory, like Harry Seldon.
He talks about Harry Seldon's math and how it worked. First, that there would be no fundamental change in human society over the next 1,000 years. Mm-hmm. The second was that... I want to read it correctly. Social changes would render Seldon's original equations obsolete, but there was a second assumption, a more subtle one. Seldon assumed that human reaction to stimuli would remain constant. Some factor must be twisting and distorting the emotional response of human beings, or Seldon couldn't have failed, and the foundation couldn't have fallen. And what factor but the mule? He's been conditioned by the mule. So basically, the doctor had also predicted that the mule has a mutation, and everyone thought it was like a physical mutation that made him like Superman or super strong or super. But what he has is in the ability to telepathically connect to you
Mm-hmm.
and emotionally, what would the word be? Like
control you,
manipulate you.
Yeah.
And
And
so that's what he's been doing. He's been affecting whole worlds this way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, crazy scale.
Yeah.
Not just one-on-one.
But like even one-on-one, like he can make you have lapses in memory.
He can make you hell, basically.
Like he can make you go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
He had already started like her husband he had manipulated often. He had made it so that the husband was never suspicious of him, which I immediately from the get-go.
And just to be clear, we're talking about the clown. The clown is the mule. This warlord that they were looking for the whole time.
I didn't reveal it yet.
You did. No, you did.
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay.
You just said.
Did I? Man, it is getting late.
I thought so. Whoops.
Anyway. So Beta kills the doctor because he was about to reveal where the location was, and she had tried to have the clown go away, but the doctor was like, I'll leave him, he's not going to bother anyone. But he was the mule.
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun.
So the doctor had predicted the mule had the ability to manipulate emotions. He didn't know the extent of it. We end up hearing the extent of it from the mule directly.
Yeah.
So poor doctor gets shot.
Mm-hmm. Because Bay figured it out that... I wonder if he plays with... Did the mule just take her for granted? She was...
No.
He didn't feel like she had to manipulate or be controlled?
No, the mule actually calls her his mistake. Why, your wife was a mistake. Because he says that you made one mistake ever. Your wife was an unusual person. I had never met her like... I had never met her like before in my life.
Mm-hmm.
In Neo Trantor, my foolish emotions betrayed me again. Beta was not under my control, but even so might never have suspected me if I had kept my head about the Crown Prince. His intentions toward Beta annoyed me. I killed him. It was a foolish gesture. An unobtrusive fight would have served as well. And she tells him, your only chance at winning everything was to locate, because they suspect that the second foundation isn't technically ready. Since it's a foundation of psychologists, they're the only ones that'll be able to actually fight the mule back. Like, the first foundation, without its psychologist, was left impervious? No, not impervious. What's the opposite of impervious?
Weak? I don't know. Open to?
Yeah, open to attack by someone like the mule.
Yeah.
Whereas a planet of psychologists, if allowed,
they could adapt to it.
Or even maybe have a technology or be able to predict the mule existing.
Because this is a mind threat, not a, physics threat.
Exactly. So, but they predicted, they suspect that the second foundation is maybe not ready to be revealed. So, the mule's idea was that he was going to take over the first foundation and use the technology of the first foundation to destroy the second foundation. And what he did was he actually manipulated the psychologist, because he can have you have like an inkling, or he calls it an inkling, but he said it's that feeling that you get when you're like, you have a hunch. He can amplify that feeling so that's the only thing you want to follow. Yeah,
he manipulates the intuition.
Yeah, so he makes it so that you don't want to eat, you don't want to sleep, but it does eat away at the person.
And that's
so that was why the doctor died in like a matter of weeks, because the mule was just sitting there. Like, they thought it was how cute Magnifico keeps going down there to watch like movies and shit,
a
and
cute,
just
silly
hang
little
out
clown.
or like help the doctor. And the doctor even mentioned, I was like, man, there's so many hints. I mean, I knew it was the mule, but like every time Asimov dropped a hint, I was like, if this is a surprise to you. Because he was literally like, because one time Beta was like, does the clown bother you down here? Because I can have him do something else. And he was like, no, leave him. It's fine. He doesn't bother me. If anything, sometimes he brings me the tapes, and like, I swear it's like he's reading my mind or something, or he knows what I want before I even want it. Or
that's crazy.
It's kind of worded like that, and I was like, yeah, Come on, bro.
Yeah, that is funny.
Come on now.
Come on, Asimov. That is cool though.
But we just cleared that room so
I
cute.
know,
like,
me and you, that was cute. Power couple. Reading one of my favorite book series. Oh, we're
oh, no,
shot in the
behind
back.
us.
Oh, I'm flashbanged.
So, the mule sits down, and he goes,
And he goes, I'm the mule. I got one of the funniest villain names in history.
basically.
But I'll make you
So he
respect
goes,
me. Book 3, you're gonna
and
respect
meanwhile,
it.
I am still the mule, the most powerful man in the galaxy. I shall still defeat the second foundation. I call myself the mule, but not because of my strength, obviously. He left them, never looking back. Because they were like, alright, kill
also
us
looks
if you
funny.
want. And
Did I
he was
just-
like, you know what? And for the sake of friendship, I'm not going to kill you guys. I'm going to just let you go.
The power of friendship. The Asimov anime.
Basically. What did we watch that they were like, the power of friendship always wins, and then it did work out that way.
I don't know. I just know that's the joke. That's the meme.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
so the reason that we needed the first book,
Yeah.
the
First part of it
was
yeah.
because it was going to show us how dependent they'd become on the Harry Seldon thing, and
Mhm.
how they felt that, oh, that was cute, we're together again. How the Foundation had become like untouchable, but also how it was becoming stagnant. Like,
yeah.
they were no longer trying to.
And just those power structures too. With the whole oligarchs, basically, with the rich leaders, the effectively taxation, taking bigger chunks of the traders, falling apart, leading to Mule Man. But Mule Man, I would say his powers were out of left field. I mean,
I guess they mentioned that mutations were dang, I think I have it highlighted somewhere, but I don't know. It was like 1 in whatever. Dang it, they're gonna take my kill streak box.
oh, really? Not like insanely rare. They even had a percentage for it.
Yeah,
Okay.
like, but no mutation had been that level of like mind manipulation. A lot of
Mhm.
times they were either like people were deformed or
Yeah, and he is super weird looking too. I don't know if they did get into it in this book, but in part 3, which I started reading, he's super ashamed of his looks. That's gonna fuel a lot of his motivations for book 3.
Well, that they do get into it because he's like, the reason that I am doing what I'm doing is because I was born ugly and
Yeah.
nobody loved me,
He's
and
like
everybody
spindly.
picked on me. He's
Long
spindly.
arms and legs, really
he's
weak
got
looking,
these,
odd.
I'm like, y'all didn't find it sus that the man that you just randomly picked up, like, you're
Mhm.
looking for a mutant and this guy's described as having a beak.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
But wait, who were they looking for?
Magnifico was described as having like a beaked nose.
Yeah, and so does the mule.
No, the mule is just described as having, if you go by Magnifico's description of him, it was this big guy with
Yeah, imagine. That's why I picked
eyes
the
that
name
nobody
mule.
can see because he always wore like
Wore hater blockers.
spectacles or something. And I'm like, you were looking for a mutant, and like Magnifico's described, if anything, as like kind of grotesque.
Yeah, but the opposite kind, not some big brute.
Yeah, but I mean, you're looking for a mutant.
Yeah.
I was sus of him from the beginning.
I know, but that's because they're letting you know that they feel like he's in his mind and shit.
No, I mean, like, I was suspicious of him since the second that we see him on the beach.
Picking up a clown on the beach is gonna be one of the weirdest plot
like,
turns
just
of
everything from
Asimov
like,
writing in
oh,
general.
like, this clown comes up to his wife and he's just like looking into her eyes and like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
and the husband is like, all right, do you want $5 to fucking go away?
Yeah.
And he's like, please don't make me go away, like, take me with you. And I'm like, this is the most sus shit.
He's like a really weird, annoying, like,
I mean, he's described like he's supposed to take on this like childish.
It's the thing from Zelda, the balloon guy that like floats up that I hate. I forget his name. But like he's so weak and so silly that there's no way you would think he's the mule. You know, you're not supposed to, but like my wife says, it's like, you know, the writing wise, you can tell like there's mental manipulation going on with the workers.
The reveal was still cool, even knowing it was going to be the mule.
Yeah. They're still written cool. But and I like that they're playing with the demoralization of the workers and all that on Foundation. You gotta think of World War II type, because this was coming out in 45, so this is the middle of World War II. You got all the women like super cranking out stuff at the factories at home, in the whole big war effort, and you know, propaganda being the kind of mental attack vector. But this is just straight up psychic attack.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Dang it! I want to see.
Yeah, your actual quotes. She got plenty of quotes.
Oh yeah, I hear her, my friend, because after she kills him, her and her husband like step away from him, and he's supposed to be like standing far away, outside of earshot. But he goes, "I hear her, my friend. It is merely that I have been sitting here and brooding on the fact that with all my cleverness and forethought, I could make a mistake and lose so much. I am the mule."
But where we left off, where does he go? Because I'm merging with the beginning of part 3. What's the mule? Where are we at? When does the book end?
The mule just leaves.
But how do you get away? He wasn't
He wasn't
there,
away.
right? But like she shoots the doctor?
She shoots the doctor.
Yeah.
She doesn't shoot the mule.
In the basement, right?
Yeah.
And the mule's not even there, right?
No, the mule is there.
Okay.
Because she tried to send him away, and the doctor was
Why
like,
doesn't she shoot the mule, I guess is why I'm asking.
So she was scared of shooting the mule because she knew that the mule could read her emotions, and she didn't know the mule had purposely not read her emotions, because the mule said that for the first time he ever laid eyes on her and like looked into her, he could see that she liked him for what he was. She did not have to act like she did. She didn't have to manipulate her feelings. She was just open to accepting him for what he was.
Wasn't freaked
and
out
he
by
had never experienced that before. So it turns out she probably could have killed the mule, but she didn't know this. He confesses this to her. He did not probe her mind.
Yeah.
Like the way he would probe everyone else's mind on the ship and that he was around. He would purposely not go into her mind because he was scared that if he went in there and touched anything, this natural feeling of her liking him would disappear. And that since he'd never felt it before,
he would have forced it on her.
Yeah. By tampering with her mind, he would have maybe had to force, and it could have manipulated or changed this feeling that felt so good.
Because he can control and make anybody do what he wants, basically. Yeah. Surrounded by, you know.
But since she didn't know that, she had no idea whether he could read her mind or not. So if she did go up to him with the intentions of killing him, he could just change her intentions and force her.
Yeah, which would ruin it for both.
Yeah.
And she's already knowing that he caused planet-scale mental control, or at least affliction.
Yeah.
So of course she thinks he could just hijack her and make her turn that gun on herself.
He honestly could.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
To the point where he looks at her in a way that she could tell he like loves her, or at least wants to love her.
Yeah.
Or wants to
He's
love
never
on
had real
her.
love. He's been a mutant. We know nothing about his like upbringing yet, right?
They do touch on it. So his mom died before she could even lay eyes on him. And he never knew his father. He was picked on for being grotesque.
Okay. I didn't know we got all that. That's cool. How do we get all that though? Is it? But that's just not a cover story as the clown.
No. Some of it the captain tells us and he confirms it, but most like he does just tell you at the end of the book.
Okay. Yeah, when he's already revealed. Okay, that's pretty cool. So yeah, so we're left off with, Harry Seldon basing his predictions on how people will act, but if mind control by mutant evolution variation basically
Yeah, and at this
isn't
point,
accounted for, then what's going to happen?
at this point, Beta purposely, she killed the doctor because she tells, why are you shooting me? We're on the same side. She tells the mule that she killed the doctor because she would prefer that the second foundation be so out of his hands, so that if he does try to get to them, they might have an upper edge. She told him that also with the amount of time it's going to take to find the second foundation, he might just die, and unless he's going to leave a dynasty, like have sexies with somebody and make a child.
Yeah, that he's just going to die off natural causes.
Yeah, he'll just die, and that'll be the end of him and his mutation.
Yeah.
And then because he took over the foundation, like everything will just kind of fall into
How do you do this to me? Barbarous. It'll be in a barbaric state.
Again. And their last chance will survive with the second foundation.
Yeah, and that's going to be, not a spoiler, but
and the psychologist,
what book 3's about, trying to find it.
Miss Ebling.
Yeah,
he basically confirms, he's like, Seldon must have kept the second foundation of psychologists a secret on purpose, knowing that something like this could potentially happen, and wanting to make sure that his ultimate plan doesn't fall apart.
If they knew there was even a small percentage of the evolutionary mutation.
I think your brother's running around with a knife.
I know, you saw that? No, we've been throwing knives at each other the whole time. It's very petty. We have a little knife throwing rivalry. Yeah, for people just listening, we are playing Call of Duty, and
no, your actual non-existent brother's running around with an actual...
Wait, what? Oh. You're saying, yeah, what the hell else could you be talking about?
Like, if you have no idea that we're gaming and talking
like,
about
as if you just
book.
got a text message like, oh, hey, your brother's running around with a knife. That's scary. Let me explain. Call of Duty, and we run around to keep our minds, just having a little decompress.
It's also just nice.
While
we
got
don't
our
get
baby.
to do this anymore.
Yeah, we don't get to play. When you have a newborn, you'll know. And this is where we hide, and we whisper, and we talk about books that she reads while it's nap time with baby.
Yeah.
And it's very cool, and I'm very much enjoying it.
I'm honestly down to call it the Nap Trap series. But
Nap Trap book series. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to read book 3 now, because
book 3. As soon as
book 2 ended so good.
Yeah, when we started getting ready to record, I was like, yeah, you got to do these 3 together at least.
It's funny because I saw one guy leave a review where he was like, the first book was better, and I'm not gonna lie, if you didn't stick it out through part 1 to get to part 2,
yeah,
I could see you feeling that way.
Yeah.
But if you stuck it out to part 2, man.
Yeah,
Part 2 is
it's
great.
such an odd twist, like the balls of Asimov, the writer confidence. Like, what the hell are you talking about? You're gonna have a weird ass. The way he writes him so weird. You really gotta read it. The clown, it's like
Magnifico.
weird and annoying.
Literally, I'm telling you,
the
it's
names
supposed
are
to
silly.
be like. It's supposed to be a childlike.
Yeah, he's literally a silly, annoying kid, like a mentally messed up kind of kid. But yeah, to make that like his plot device on, by the way, the book that, I don't know if he knew this at the time or what, but it won, I don't know if it's the only one, it's the first one that won all 3 of the big sci-fi awards.
The first one?
The Nebula and all that. Yeah, Foundation.
Makes sense.
It's obviously the classic. I keep
honest,
mentioning all the Star Wars
first one
parallels.
was groundbreaking.
Yeah. Everybody references it, and it's in the 40s. I think 42 for that one, 43 for this one, and I think it was written in April and November of 1945. Dead Hand and the Mule that become that become this book. So I'm glad you're excited for part 3, because, you never know how weird this whole Magnifico guy is going to come off. If he doesn't stick that reveal landing, then the book is just goofy. But what?
Happy birthday.
Oh, snap. It's
Happy
my birthday.
birthday, you.
Yeah, thank you. That's cool. I couldn't think of a better way to spend
we're
it.
gonna make it this late.
Yeah, I know, right? I was thinking
We're
that.
usually in bed
we were
by like
fading.
11.
Mm-hmm. But we had to finish this story. This is one of my favorite book series, and this is what I like about doing this, because you're finally getting to read it. I hope we encourage other people to pick it up and read it too. Even if you think we have spoilers and all that, I've listened to it on Audible a whole bunch of times. But, over years ago, like literally, I don't know, 8 years.
It's worth the read or listen. The listening is great.
The narrator, Scott Brick, is literally one of the best.
I've been with
legend.
Freddie a couple of times when he plays it. Such a good narrator.
Yeah. Well, I'm a foundation man. It's really good. It's really immersive. I would just listen to it to go to sleep and stuff, and just in the background, just doing other stuff, almost like music, where I actually like the narration, the voice. It's also, the story's good, but literally just the narration is pleasant to listen to. So definitely check it out. I think we're good though, right? You ran through a bunch of your quotes and all that?
I think so. I mean, I had a bunch of quotes.
No, I know, there's a whole thing. We could always do a end of the trilogy of books. I know it's of 7, but when we do these main 3, we could always think about random stuff we missed, but I think we'll call it there for now. And we'll see you when we get to book 3. See you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh wait, likes.
Yeah, do all the stuff. Like, subscribe,
Whatever.
follow. Bye.